Hi, I'm Leathur Rokk. You can see I screwed up. I don't have my clapboard. What the heck is wrong with me? You know, I've got to do this thing called consistency. So I'm going to go back into my studio and I'm going to get my clapboard, right? I kind of went the lazy route today. You got to understand. I got up early. Yesterday, I took a total day off from cooking, from everything. I don't understand why I was so tired. I actually spent almost all day in bed yesterday. I kind of screwed up. I didn't cook for anybody. I did make coffee, but I was just tired. You ever just feel tired and okay, so I didn't eat it all yesterday. My mom, I keep her with snacks in her bedroom. She has a 6-pack of cornmeal muffins. I bring her all kinds of things that I leave in there, and she just puts them in a hard plastic thing that the mice can't get. So, but anyway, I did a full fast yesterday. All I drank was coffee and water, and I didn't eat any food. So I think I am a firm believer in occasional fasting. Please check with your medical provider. Some people, their idea of a fast is only eating for a 5-hour window of time, and then you have 19 hours where you don't eat at all. Well, then there's fasting where you totally don't eat for 24 hours, you just drink water. And I do drink coffee, and yes, I put sweet and low in it. Oh, and now that I have sweet and lows, I'm so grateful for. So anyway, I'm gonna do this to make it official. And so anyway, I got up early today thinking that I would meet the guy at the breakfast cart who, he's this real nice guy. He's like a lay preacher, and he's actually visited my mom in the hospital a couple of times. And he's really good people. In my book, he actually cares about people, but some weeks they don't show up, but I usually go there to look for my homeless friends and stuff. And I was lucky. I found a roach, a big roach this big, and I don't mean the 6-legged variety, underneath one of the benches on the boardwalk. Okay, and because it was under a bench, it didn't get rained on because it's been raining. So anyway, I talked to a few people that I knew, and then one person that I have to avoid because he's somebody that we had to kick out of the house because he was being an idiot. So anyway, now my mom is hungry, right? And of course that's why I'm in the kitchen with you guys. So, but I have to clean a few things. Imagine being a Jenny Clips. That's your, hey. Okay, now I'm going to deal with this. This is what I'm going to use to clean, to make what I'm making, Mom. I was going to actually clean this sink, and I need to do that. I realize that, but I have so many clothes to wash, and I have more dishes to wash that are actually in the bathroom sink. It's a lot easier to wash there. But you know what? Of course, first thing we got to do with these things is you have to flame dry them on the stove. So I'm going to do this first. And then now I'm going to go find the ingredients for what I'm about to make. Certain kind of bread. Here's one of the ingredients, guacamole. Okay. I found 1 egg. I scrambled that up, and I've already shown you my technique that I make them a little bit bigger by. I don't add milk to the eggs, I add water, and I add the equivalent of what would fit in each eggshell half. I add it, I whip it up real fine. I don't want to be seeing any lumps of yolk in my scrambled eggs. I put salt and pepper and turmeric in there. Always add pepper to turmeric. And I'm going to go ahead and use some of this. Now, this is not Atlantic City Italian bread. I don't know why exactly they call it Italian bread, but when I think of Italian bread, I think of Rando's Italian bread made in Atlantic City. In order to make it, you need our water. And this is what we use to make the famous White House subs that maybe you've heard of. And yes, they are wonderful if you get them at the original White House location, not the other locations like where the casinos. Just my opinion. What do I know? I'm a local, right? Okay, the first thing I'm going to do, now that this is heated up, I'm going to throw some oil into this pan. And you know what? If you find that you didn't get everything off and things burned on, then you just soak it and you clean it later when you have more time. Obviously, I didn't have a whole lot of time because I didn't clean this until just before filming, because I had no idea I'd be doing a cooking live stream. Certainly not in the morning. But I came home empty-handed except for that roach. And my mom's hungry, and since she and I both did a full fast yesterday, I have to step up my game. Okay, I'm going to take this oil and I'm going to do a real good coat on the surface. Going to heat this. And then I'm going to go ahead. Oh, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a knife. I already told you guys, this is my favorite knife. You see what I'm doing here? I'm going to cut a circle. Doesn't have to be perfect. You don't want to go too close to the edge though, because you don't want this to fall apart. Actually, I'm not going to do a circle. I'm going to do an oval. That would make more sense. And then you could save this bread for breadcrumbs. Or you can feed birds, but I'm reading that some birds really, bread isn't so good for them. So, like geese and stuff, you know, I don't want to harm our wildlife. Okay, see what I did? I'm going to set this here. Going to make sure that both sides got oil. Okay, I'm going to throw this on the fire. I mean, in the. I hope you see this. Okay. Now, and because the reason why I have to turn this around is because the floors in my building are warped. They're going down this way instead of being level. And because of that, you're not going to get a total even cooking because the oil is going to pull to one side. Even though the stove is actually on a block to lift it, and that's still not doing a very good job. So can you imagine if it didn't have that block on it to lift it, it would be even harder to cook. But as is anything in life, you learn to work with your limitations. So, okay, I'm going to, now I don't know how, I want this to get a little bit browner, and then I'm going to flip it over on the other side. Okay. Now this one here, I think I'm going to just leave as it is. Or you know what? No, I'll go ahead and I'll cut something from this too. Try not to cut your finger off when you're doing it. I am gay. Hey, hi, I am gay. How you doing? Nothing wrong with that. Just like nothing wrong with being bisexual, nothing wrong with being straight, nothing wrong with being who you are. You know? I don't judge. I may have some opinions about people's comfort levels and fairness when it comes to things like sports and stuff, but as far as being who you are, I got no problem with that. Now, as you can see, I kind of chewed this up some. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to wait until I have this heated. Okay, now this is what you want. You want to get a color to it. I'm going to turn it over on this side. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a little bit more oil. Jasmine, hi. Good morning. Or is it late at night where you are because you're in England and there's what, 5 hour, 6 hour difference? I didn't know I was going to be doing this, honestly, but since I screwed up yesterday and I didn't cook at all and I totally did a fast and I kind of neglected my mom a little bit, except for she did have food in her room, but I can't explain to you guys. I was just really tired and I didn't want to deal with people because I had so many friends go cuckoo lately, and I just, sometimes you just have to put your foot down. Okay, now you see what I'm doing here? I'm making sure this is real good. Oh, I need to add salt to this. Now, because this is for my mom, I can't use the salt substitute because that is supposed to be dangerous for people that are taking heart meds. Okay. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and stick these in this edge here. And I'm going to stick this up here. You can see this now. I'm going to pour this right over the egg mixture. Now you see there's some extra stuff here. First of all, I don't think she wants to eat the eggshell. I'm going to take a little bit of water and I'm going to mix it with this. And I'm going to do this until I get all the extra egg stuff here. This will increase your volume, especially considering I only had one egg and I want to make something substantial. I mean, one egg is nothing. I usually scramble 3 eggs when I make food for myself. Okay, I'm going to put this now. Okay, I'm using, if you're doing a plastic fork, do be careful because plastic will melt. But if you were using a non-stick cookware instead of cast iron, you definitely want to use plastic or not rubber, or you could use rubber, you can use silicone, just things that are not going to melt in the heat, but that will not scratch and damage your surface. Okay, put water in this to make it easier to clean. Okay, now I gotta find, hold on. Okay, this is what I'm going to use to turn it with, but I want to wash this. I don't think it's totally washed enough. Okay, now. Oh, I better protect my hands. Okay, now this is what it's going to look like here. It's not the most attractive thing, but this is exactly what my mom said she wants. And Jasmine says, good morning to you. It's afternoon. Oh, okay, so it's all right. So this will explain why when I'm doing things late at night, you guys have to go to bed. Oh, okay. Usually when it comes to time zones, I'm used to dealing with Los Angeles, and for a few years, for actually 7 or 8 years until I lost touch with her, I had a really good friend that lived in Australia. I had 2 friends that lived in Australia. One, I'm afraid, may either be in prison or maybe dead. I don't know. But the lady, she worked for a travel agency, and we met kind of by accident through music-oriented message board because I was a little bit obsessed over a certain rock star guy who shall be nameless. And anyway, she had reasons to do business with him because he not only was part of a band, but he also did solo projects. And I think some charities were involved, and they were going to be they had a business meeting in Los Angeles that I was even trying to go to, but, because I don't fly, that takes a lot longer for me to get places. And anyway, long story short, when we started having some international conflicts and it became less safe for people to travel certain places, certain things were put on hold. And then I think I finally grew out of my little rock star crush and stuff, because it was kind of ridiculous. Because the thing about having crushes on these unattainable people who usually have totally different tastes than other people is that instead of living your life as it really is and leaving yourself open to maybe finding love with people who are actually accessible, you're obsessing over these people that you can't have and who probably wouldn't give you the time of day anyway. And who's to say you'd even get along with them? Who's to say that you'd be compatible? And sometimes people seem attractive and appealing through the media, through whatever sanitized version of their lives you get, but the reality may be very different. So, but you can't get that time back that you spent crushing over or obsessing over people. That's why people who are in the public eye really are worried about their security and worried about their fans, because sometimes people go a little crazy. I mean, look at David Hinckley. He tried to impress Jodie Foster, and you saw what he tried to do to Reagan. So there's a lot of unstable people out there. So people really need to get a grip, just like I needed to. And, because you're really wasting your life. You're not living in the present moment. And you can't get that time back. Now, I like my eggs well done. My mom, she could handle hers a little less cooked, but you still want them well done enough so that you don't get salmonella or anything. But this, now, the one thing about guacamole is that if you don't put lemon juice on it, it oxidizes, and that's not the most attractive thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a spoon and I'm going to take the brown part off. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I really want to make sure this got a nice doneness to it. You know what? I better do this two-handed. Sometimes when I open up these cabinets, things fall out. And I don't want to get hit in the head. Okay. Now, she called this something. I forget what she called it. Something about frogs or something. I don't know. But there's a folk name for this. When you... I know there's this thing where you tear up bread and you break an egg that you didn't scramble over it. But I scrambled this already before I told her what I had so far. Okay, so now we got this. And I'm going to take some guacamole. Now, do you hear her going shoo, shoo in the other room? She's having another encounter with another mouse. She hates it when I talk baby to them, but hey, he jigs up. You know. All right, let's see. Now I'm going to put water in this just to make it easier to clean when I'm ready to clean the skillet. And I'm going to throw in 2 tiny little tomatoes also. Now I'm going to dry my hands off. Like you do. You do. Oh. So my mom was tripping. She said, "Who are you talking to in the kitchen?" Because, I've been having so many friends over. It's not unusual to hear me talk to somebody. I says, "No, I'm doing a live stream. I was checking to make sure that she was properly covered, since people seeing her gutsies apparently get really offended." So, but no, I said, "I'm doing a live stream." She says, "Oh, you're talking to yourself." I says, "Like you do all the time." I'm serious, my mom's always talking to herself. It used to drive me crazy, man. Because you hear this, and you could tell she's really animated into it. Maybe you could tell, like, if she's mad at one of her kids or something, and she just, Anyway, this is... I will get you, I gave you little tomatoes. Oh, look, it's smiling. Wait, I want to show them this. Oh, this, you got the eyes, you got the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Her dinner, or breakfast, excuse me. Now, I'm turning the light on because we actually have light in this house. Look at this. Now, turn it around and see it smiling. It's your dinner, your lunch, your breakfast, whatever the hell this is smiling. Now, I'm going to give her a fork so she can... And you know what, oh, she wants a knife too. Let's see if she can handle a knife. The physical therapist has been saying, before I was like cutting things for her and doing things, and they've been saying to let her do as much as she can by herself so that she can practice her manual dexterity and stuff. But did she say she needs a knife too? Jeez. Yeah, yesterday I totally was down for the count, and I was not very useful to anybody, and I've got to make up for that. Oh, these are the special handles that make it easier for her to... Yeah. You got a fork, you got a knife.
Mm-hmm. And I got...
And she has ketchup. When my father and she were dating, and he discovered that she liked ketchup in her eggs, he used to say, "Oh, you like eggs with your ketchup." And so when I was a little girl, I would not eat eggs unless they were smothered in ketchup. So anyway, now my job is done, at least for now. Would you like more coffee?
Yes, please.
Would you like more water?
Yes, please.
Ooh.
I think I have a little bit of water.
You have a little bit. Well, I'm going to bring her some coffee. And, we always keep the water thing going on here. Let's see. And you see, I'm been doing laundry. I have so much laundry to do. You guys, people don't know how much work I have to do. This is all dirty clothes that I need to wash, okay? This is what's currently, I just filled this with soapy hot water about 6:30 this morning, something like that. I have to rinse them all out. I have to put them in on hangers and hang them around here. When they stop dripping and they're mostly dry, then I put them in my mom's room to finish drying. I keep this going on, and of course the things that I wash, depending on how dirty they are, the cleanest things, I wash them together and I use that water first, and then that water now is a little bit dirty. Then I put dirtier things in there and I wash them. And I do this before the water starts smelling bad. Once the water starts smelling bad, then you know that there's a bacterial growth, and obviously you have to dump that water and then rewash any clothes that got that stink on it because they now have bacteria on them. So it's really important, especially in warm weather months, to not leave that water sitting out too long. To when you are soaking and kneading your clothes and doing the friction or whatever it is, you scrub your clothes, it's important to get it done before the bacterial growth starts. You know, and this isn't something I learned from reading women's magazines and stuff. This is just something I have figured out from my life experience. I never thought that I would grow to be a bit of an expert at these things. I mean, really, I never set out to be a great housekeeper or to know all this stuff about running a home. I wanted to go out and be a rock star and be an actress and be a model and do all this showbiz stuff. I didn't want to be a woman about the house. But guess what? Everybody needs to have these skills because everybody needs to know how to cook. Everybody needs to know how to live. You know, if you're lucky and you end up not living by yourself because you find the love of your life and you can build a family and stuff, that's great. Not everybody has these things happen. You still need to know how to live. So I don't mind sharing whatever I figured out. I'm going to pour the coffee. Now, I want you guys to know I cannot see what I'm doing. There.
Thank you, Larry.
Enjoy. Is that good?
Thank you, Larry.
Now, do you need any salt or pepper or anything?
Oh, I thought you put salt and pepper on this.
I put salt and pepper in the eggs.
Well, that should be enough.
And everything
I'm not
else.
supposed to be on a salt-free diet anyway.
And the guacamole already has something in it.
It has something in it, I'm sure.
I want you to be healthy and safe.
Thank you.
Okay, now I'm going to let her eat in peace because, you know, she used to be a little bit on a camera shy, but she is humoring me because she knows my channel is important to me, and she knows that so many people who watch my content really love my mom, and you know what, she appreciates it. Every kind thing that somebody says about her, I share all my comments with her, you know, and you guys have nice things to say, I share it with her because that's what you do, you know. Another view of my basil here. Oh, I should have thought to put some of that in there. I didn't. Oh, well. All right. Well, you know what? I'm in the mood to have some coffee now. And, of course, I had to go and put have coffee. Now, I should probably think about making myself something to eat. I know it can't be eggs because I used up that egg, but there's no shortage of things in this house to eat. This is, of course, my bed, and I turned off it's funny, I turned off the fan and I closed a lot of the windows because it felt like it was cooling off, but now I've got the Weather Channel in front of me and it says that it is 70 degrees out. I actually threw on a light jacket when I went out today, and I wore these clothes that I'm wearing now. You know, you see I'm wearing trousers, and I'm wearing a crop top, but I still put SPF 50 on my face instead of 30 because I might be going out to a church dinner tonight. I thought I missed it, and it was last week, but I'm really, especially in light of what happened with Charlie Kirk getting assassinated. I like to hang out with Christians sometimes to commiserate over the common loss that anybody, regardless of their spirituality or lack of. I think if you love America and you love teaching healthy values to young people, and really to anybody who could be inspired by them, I think that Charlie Kirk's legacy was not just for people who believe in the same religious aspects and things that he does, but I would think, for all I know, there might be people in India who are Hindus who still loved what Charlie Kirk was doing and appreciated it. He was encouraging people to make families and to, raise happy, decent children who are good for the world and making the world a better place. And just so many things that he did that was so inspiring. And especially this whole thing about how important it is to have free speech and to feel safe communicating. And that's the thing, is that right now, so many of us that veer right, we feel that we have targets on us, that there are people that have been emboldened. I'm seeing now on college campuses, there are people that are flyering people with left-wing gun clubs, and they're calling them different names, like fascist catch, which is a direct quote from that despicable man whose name I will not say, who assassinated Charlie Kirk. And so there are these really, I don't want to call them wicked, I don't want to call them evil, even though I'm sure that's what they are, but people who are so full of hate that you would think it's okay that a man who was married, 4 years, left behind a 1.5-year-old and a 3.5-year-old. It's not right. Those kids are deprived of their father, just like what Luigi Mangione did. And yes, I'll admit he's easy on the eyes, but he killed a man who had left behind a wife and a little kid. So now that little kid's going to grow up without a father because somebody decided to blame him for some symbolic anger that he may have toward the, I don't know if it's the healthcare industry as a whole or if it's the insurance industry as a whole. I mean, hey, I can bitch and moan about healthcare in this country too, depending on where you're at. I have complained about how it's better in California than it is in New Jersey, for instance. But I'm not going to, and I can never see myself reacting in such a way that I would be violent towards some stranger because of some concept. That's wrong. The only time I think it's ever justified to harm another person is if they personally had done you wrong. Then, okay, eye for an eye. But to harm some stranger who never did anything to you just because somebody else hurt you, come on. That is just so despicable and so evil. I just don't understand it, Let me grab my coffee here. Now there is, I got 3/4 of a cup of coffee. Let me go get some Sweet and Low. Oh boy. Guys, I am so sweaty. I wish I'd worn a skirt and looked more like myself to go out. I mean, you could see what I'm actually wearing here. I'm wearing trousers, okay? And these trousers are really interesting. You see, they go down to here and totally show skin here and show skin here. So I had to put sunblock where my skin is. Now, this is actually, I think the company that made these pants is called KIT, K-I-T. And I have this friend who I lost touch with in Wales. Not New South Wales, which is Australia, but I mean Wales, like near England and Ireland and Scotland and all that. And we lost touch because I think she is not on the internet. And I wish she would be on the internet because, it's so much easier to communicate that way, especially if you know how postage is overseas. I don't know anymore. The postage here keeps on going up, and it's ridiculous. And this is why people can't afford to stamp letters anymore. So they do as much as possible by the internet. But then there are some people who, for whatever reason, they can't afford to get on the internet, or they don't know the tech, or people like my mother that are being dragged into the tech world, kicking and screaming. And that's really what's going on with my mom. That she has this iPad, and some friends of hers who used to live local but moved down to Virginia. I wouldn't mind going to Virginia because there's this place called Trump Town. It's a big store full of, I guess, a bunch of Trump merchandise and stuff. Oh man, that would be a pilgrimage. Oh, can you imagine the videos I can make there? Mm, my kitty cat spoon. I'm so hot, you guys. Oh, I'm so hot. So hot, so hot, so hot. You know what? I'm thinking maybe I should keep this live stream family friendly and not spark up that you know what that I found today. Because that's the thing is I realize so many of my live streams I talk about grown up stuff. And then when it becomes a standalone video, probably some of you will watch it, but you're afraid who you share it with because you don't want to corrupt people. And so for that reason, I will not do anything that you can't do in front of kids. And notice I don't think I even said any cuss words this time. You know, I'm not trying to turn myself into all of a sudden family friendly channel or something, but I am trying to comport myself with a little bit more control because I'm going to need these skills if I do get something with broadcast television, or if, say, I meet the right people and I get invited to the White House press corps or something, because Trump is always talking about wanting new media. And I am really trying to get on the wavelength and radar right side broadcasting network, since I am a person that veers on the right and I support most of what they're doing with CPAC and stuff. And that's another thing. One of these years, I would love to be able to go to CPAC and do YouTube from, I guess, live stream from my hotel room, since there's probably limited things that you're allowed to film. But that would be really great. But I'd want to do it when the hotel is near Washington, D.C. And of course, you're going to have to be paying for hotel rooms and, you know, the round trip hound and stuff. And I don't know if I'm going to definitely need to have ID there first. Well, to check into a hotel, unless, of course, I get help by somebody else. Who knows? Maybe I can do this with another right-leaning YouTuber, and maybe we can do a collab or something. I'm open to that. And matter of fact, speaking of collabs, there is somebody who made a comment on my channel a couple of years ago. It was an Asian man that was a young guy that was interested in doing news commentary. And I even looked at his channel, and he did some videos where he was talking about some things that were going on. And he definitely was right leaning and civics minded, and seemed like he was a MAGA person and very thoughtful. And I'm sorry I don't remember your name, your username, but in the off chance that you're watching this, uh, please feel free to reach out to me. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Threads. And as soon as I get this cell phone thing figured out, my intention is to join TikTok, because I realize I need to expand my social media reach. Uh, I notice that sometimes things that you don't get many hits on one platform, you do on another. And it's easy enough to take a YouTube short, and that could be repurposed on Instagram. And there are some things that I put when because I was getting some people making some really hateful comments accusing me of neglecting my cat and stuff. And the thing is, not everybody has all the same financial resources. And I know I have other resources that not everybody has, but when it comes to certain things like the cost prohibitiveness of medical care for cats, and the thing is, even if you were to get insurance, first of all, that's a monthly charge. What if you're not making anything monthly? And if you're guessing that your animal is a senior animal, wouldn't it stand to reason that there would be much more expensive insurance premiums for a senior animal as opposed to a kitten or a young adult cat? So if that's the case, I cannot commit myself to a monthly bill of any kind unless and until I have guaranteed income coming in. So, it's like it's about what's coming in and what's coming out. It's about being fiscally responsible. I save. Yes, I do. So that when I have chances to get things that I need, I can get them, like cell phones, equipment. Sometimes kind people who like me have supplied me with equipment. I am very, very, very beyond grateful for that. Many times I'm using my own resources and saving and getting things. That's usually how I get my computers and things. And so, I mean, but I'm trying to be as personally responsible for my life and my needs as I can. And I'm just trying to do the right thing. But anyway, I'm just getting so hot. I'm going to open up this window. It is so hot. Oh, I'm going to open up this window. Whew, hot, hot, hot. I need the thing that keeps the window open. Here we go. Here. Alright, well, I'm going to enjoy my coffee. I might indulge in a little grown-up pastimes while I'm here. And then I got to figure out what the heck I'm going to eat, because I probably should eat something. But I do enjoy the feeling of a nice flat stomach when I have not eaten for a day. And even a little bit of hunger actually feels good. Kind of similar to when you've gotten a good workout and you've got the arm muscles or your leg muscles or whatever is a bit sore and you're feeling it's a pain. And I'm not a masochist, right? But it's a good pain, because it's a pain that lets you know that I got to work out. I did something, whether it was I did a lot of walking or whether I hit the weights or whether I did some cardio. It gives a feeling of satisfaction. And again, it reinforces for me that I don't need drugs to stay skinny. Physical fitness is the thing. Anyway, I'm going to stop